Hey there, money mavens and early retirement enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a game-changing strategy that could help you retire early and make the most of your hard-earned cash. It's called the 95% rule, and it might just be the secret sauce you've been looking for to supercharge your retirement plans. Now, before we jump in, let me give you a quick heads up. This video is all about empowering you with knowledge, but remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research and consult with professionals before making any big money moves. Let's get into it. This is the Finance Virtuoso channel, where we talk about all things finance. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future money tips and tricks. So, what exactly is this 95% rule, and why should you care? Well, imagine you're at a buffet of retirement strategies, and you've got the traditional 4% rule on one plate. The 95% rule is like taking that 4% rule and adding a dash of flexibility and a sprinkle of longevity protection. It's a tasty alternative that might just leave you feeling more satisfied in the long run. The 95% rule was cooked up by a guy named Bob Clyott in his book, Work Less, Live More. And let me tell you, Bob might be onto something here. This rule is all about finding that sweet spot between living your best life in retirement and making sure your money lasts as long as you do. Here's how it works. Instead of withdrawing a fixed percentage of your initial nest egg every year like with the 4% rule, the 95% rule has you recalculate your withdrawal amount annually based on your current portfolio value. It also ensures that your income never drops by more than 5% from one year to the next. Let's break it down with some numbers. Say you've got a cool $1 million saved up for retirement. Congrats, by the way, that's no small feat. In your first year of retirement, you might decide to withdraw 4% or $40,000. Now, let's say the market takes a nosedive, and your portfolio drops to $800,000 the next year. Normally, a 4% withdrawal would give you just $32,000, ouch. But with the 95% rule, you'd be able to withdraw 95% of your previous year's amount, which is $38,000. See what happened there? Instead of taking a massive 20% hit to your income, you only had to tighten your belt by 5%. It's like having a financial shock absorber for your retirement journey. That sounds great, but what's the catch? Well, my friend, there's no such thing as a perfect retirement strategy. The 95% rule has its pros and cons, just like any other approach. On the plus side, this rule can potentially provide you with higher income in the early years of retirement when you're more likely to be active and ready to enjoy life to the fullest. It also adapts to market conditions, which can help your portfolio recover faster after downturns. And if you're worried about outliving your money, the 95% rule might give you a bit more peace of mind. But, and it's a big but, this flexibility comes at a cost. You might have to deal with more frequent, albeit smaller, income cuts compared to the traditional 4% rule. And if we hit a prolonged economic rough patch, I'm talking Great Depression levels of yikes, you could see your income and buying power take a significant hit over time. Let's put on our time-traveling hats for a second and imagine retiring in different eras. If you'd retired in 1929 with $1 million using the 95% rule, you'd have been in for a wild ride. We're talking 15 straight years of income cuts, with your buying power dropping by more than half by 1945. But flip the script and look at someone retiring in 1991. Over the next 30 years, the 95% rule would have generated nearly twice the income of the 4% rule. Now we're talking. So, how do you decide if the 95% rule is right for you? It all comes down to your priorities and personal situation. Are you retiring young and need your money to last for decades? The 95% rule might be worth considering. Are you more concerned about having a stable, predictable income in retirement? Then the traditional 4% rule might be more your speed. Here's my take. The 95% rule isn't a magic bullet, but it's a powerful tool to have in your retirement toolbox. It's all about finding the right balance between enjoying your retirement and making sure your money lasts. Now, let's talk implementation. If you're thinking about giving the 95% rule a shot, here are a few tips to keep in mind. 1. Start with a conservative withdrawal rate. Just because the rule allows for flexibility doesn't mean you should go wild with your initial withdrawal. A rate between 3% and 4% is a good starting point for most people. 2. Stay diversified. The 95% rule works best when your portfolio has the potential for long-term growth. A well-diversified mix of stocks and bonds can help you weather market storms and capitalize on good years. 3. Be prepared for income fluctuations. While the 95% rule limits how much your income can drop in a single year, you need to be mentally and financially prepared for the possibility of several years of small cuts. 4. Keep an eye on inflation. The 95% rule doesn't automatically adjust for inflation, so you'll need to factor that into your planning. In years when your portfolio performs well, consider giving yourself a raise to keep up with rising costs. 5. Have a backup plan. No retirement strategy is foolproof. Consider having a cash buffer, developing some flexible spending habits, or even planning for part-time work in retirement as additional safety nets. Remember, retirement planning requires ongoing attention and adjustments. Whether you go with the 95% rule, the 4% rule, or some other strategy, it's important to stay engaged with your finances and be willing to adjust course as needed. Before we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room: early retirement. Can the 95% rule help you retire early? Potentially, yes. Because it allows for higher initial withdrawals and the possibility of income growth over time, it could be a good fit for those aiming to leave the 9-to-5 grind behind sooner rather than later. However, early retirement comes with its own set of challenges. You'll need to stretch your savings over a longer period, navigate healthcare costs before Medicare kicks in, and potentially miss out on some peak earning years. The 95% rule can help address some of these issues, but it's not a silver bullet. You'll still need to do your homework, run the numbers, and probably save more aggressively than the average bear. So, there you have it, the 95% rule in all its flexible, adaptable glory. Is it the right choice for your retirement journey? Only you can decide that. But now you've got another option to consider as you plan for your golden years. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you considered using the 95% rule in your retirement planning? What other strategies are you looking at? Drop a comment below. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more financial insights and early retirement tips. Remember, the path to financial freedom is different for everyone. Whether you're Team 95% rule, 4% rule, or something else entirely, the most important thing is that you're taking control of your financial future. Keep learning, keep planning, and keep believing in your ability to create the retirement of your dreams.